kind of where you see things going, maybe the next 12, 18 months in the bowling industry?
12, 18 months in the bowling industry, I think is just going to be 100% dominated with speculation and worry over what the economy is going to do.
Yeah, been the last three.
I have been waiting since 2020 for the other shoe to drop. I really have. I've been like everybody coming in once we could reopen fully, and the tidal wave of opportunity that's come through the center of new people coming in. And we've been blessed to be in the Southeast, and our area, we started out with about 65,000 people in 2019, and we're going to be closing out 90 plus, maybe even close to 100,000 people by the end of, I think 2020 it's going to be close to 90. And then this year, if we still have so many people moving to our area.
Yeah.
So much growth and opportunity for us. But it doesn't change the fact that, again, we went through 2008 and there were some really hard realities we learned. And there are a lot of parallels happening right now.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting, like I said, I've been waiting almost 3 years for the drop. And it hasn't hit. It hasn't hit. Even in other areas, it hasn't hit. We've seen some slowdowns.
Sure.
And I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to go into full recession. I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I knew. I don't know if it's going to go to full recession, but like some of your previous guests have said, bowling not fully insulated from recession, but it definitely doesn't affect us the same way. Folks want to come out. They want to do stuff with their family, keep their family entertained.
And it's affordable.
Yeah,
They might give up something that's more expensive and drop down to bowling. For every person who can't afford to bowl, someone might drop down from a more expensive activity into bowling.
Correct. And also, what's not to say, if it really does come to, we get back to, okay, do I fill up my gas tank or do I go bowling? There's no reason to say that maybe we don't adjust pricing to be in the times. I'd love to keep charging what I'm charging. I'd love to charge more than what I'm charging, like most folks. But again, if time starts to change and we need those feet through the door, hey, do what you got to do. You got to just make sure you're open to it. My one thought I've had, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, is there is discussion of what they're calling the soft landing, which is payroll has gone up. I know there's so many folks I know that are like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm paying for like a walk-in employee right now.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, so is the person across the street. None of us in this industry are special snowflakes. I got to pay somebody $14 an hour to come in. I got to pay somebody $12. I got to pay somebody $15. It feels very personal because this is our livelihood. This is what we do.
Yeah.
But, like I said, so the mom and pop restaurant up the road is having to do the same thing.
Everybody.
And it's just, again, I hate to say it's the new normal, but it is what it is. So some of the thought is that, prices are adjusting up, so's payroll. So even though there may be like a period of stagnation, there may be a dip, the idea is that people in general are being paid enough where that dip isn't going to be as deep as we're expecting.
Yeah.
Is that the truth? Man, I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could tell people, but I definitely know people in our market they're getting paid more per hour. People are working, like our unemployment is pretty darn low. And
there's still a lot of jobs open.
Yeah.
Even on top of that.
And if we get to a point where we hit the recession that everybody's speculating on, like you said, even if people start losing jobs, which tech industry is getting murdered right now. Everywhere you look, 5,000 jobs, 6,000, 9,000. If I was in those markets, I'd be a little more worried about it. Could it eventually come to my market in Tennessee? Yeah, definitely it could happen. If we start seeing that, then I'd say it's probably time to start considering some new strategies and operations, maybe some different pricing, more aggressive pricing to try to get feet through the door.
Right.
But man, I don't know. Like I said, I really think as a whole, people are getting paid more. Jobs are still available. And even if the migrations to new markets for some folks change, or if you're in an area where there has been a population decline, there's still opportunities. You just got to, again, be open to them, be ready for them. Do I necessarily want to go back to 2008 where I was on the desk 90 hours a week? I'd prefer not to. I think there's a lot of people in the industry that would prefer not to do that.
Sure.
But again, we're in an industry where our spending and controllable costs are very controllable for us.
It's true. Yeah.
Food, we can't determine what the cost of food we buy is. Hopefully
it's commensurate with business. So if your business is reduced, then so is the cost.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, with most folks, if they're like, oh my God, I'm paying so much, I'm paying full $1 more per 6-ounce patty I buy, hopefully you've increased your price that much to go with it. You know,
Right.
if you're just eating that cost, it's crazy.
Right.
But it goes the same for the center. For payroll is every center's biggest expense.
Right.
Be it anywhere between that 30 to 20% cost of goods. And unfortunately, it may sound a little harsh, but you know, as that needle drops, if it does start dropping a lot from economic change, that's the easiest thing you can control. Now,
Right.
again, you probably, like a lot of centers, I've definitely had to hire some people who are just here to press buttons on the cash register, folks that just don't want to get on board. But again, keep me working from 5 to 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Hey, I'm sorry, Charlie, here you're going to be.
Right.
But revenue drops 20%, 30%. Charlie's probably going to be given the opportunity to find more gainful employment for them.
Right.
And then it may be me, it may be someone else, but you know, you do it again, just be flexible and change what you got to do. I think that's from 08 to now, to especially COVID, you keep hearing of centers where, you know, oh, we lost 100 centers that year. Oh, we lost 80 X number of centers in a year's time. I think a lot of that just has to do with the industry and just there's no third generation to take over. Most centers have had a dad or an owner who built the center 50s, 60s, 70s. They've maintained the center. Their kid took over somewhere in the 90s. And that owner sent their kids to college, and now they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're living the American dream is what they've done. This industry has given them that American dream and let them prosper.
Right.
But those kids don't have any interest in the bowling center.
Right.
And you have an economic downturn, and at some point you ask yourself, like, is this, you know, do I want to work? Do I want to get back to that 80, 90 hours I was doing when I was 20 and working for dad? Some folks, the answer is no.
Right.
And when that happens, those centers kind of go off. It's not always, I think, a financial decision. It's a lot of it is the labor there. Is it worth it? Is it what they want to keep doing?
Yeah, it's less a matter of having to close and just having a reason to close. COVID gave, I think, a lot of people an easy out. So, well, COVID. Yeah. Nothing you can do. It's just COVID. But really, they were just looking for an out. They're over it. They're ready to retire. They're ready to put it up. Yeah. That gave them a perfect.
Yeah. And again, it's what it is. Again, everybody's going to make their own decisions. But like I said, the reality is no matter what ends up happening, ultimately it's in the center's hands. Are they gonna get some grit in them? Are they gonna push through? Or is it going to be, hey, maybe it's time we look for see if anybody wants to buy the place? Or is it, hey, is it time for us to just hang up the hat? And none of them are easy decisions at all. But it's definitely stuff I think centers should be putting some time and effort into kind of thinking of, if that shoe, like I said, if that shoe does drop.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
Yeah, what are we going to do? What's the plan? Where do we want to have happen? And it might be an uncomfortable conversation, but I think it would be a fantastic conversation.
Yeah. Hey, did you like this video? Great. We make 10 of them a week. Subscribe to learn more and keep learning about what's working in the industry. Talk to you then.